Just over a week ago, Joe and I said goodbye to our little beach cottage. It was so bittersweet because this place held so many firsts for us. At the time, we were living in Hawaii and we knew that we wanted to move back to California, so we took a chance on a sketchy Craigslist ad, and it turned out to be the spot where we really came into ourselves as a couple. It's where we raised our 4 ducks from 1 day old. We accidentally gained a 3rd cat, and we also started growing our baby girl. We surfed here, trained for marathons here, and walked the beach nearly every single day. Being an over 100-year-old beach cottage, it definitely came with its quirks, but we fell in love with every bit of its charm. And while all chapters come to a close, we are so excited for what this next one holds. The next chapter feels fresh, a little unknown, and more exciting than anything we've ever stepped into. So let's dive into it together. It's almost 9 p.m. and we're just packing up the final things, including our little kitties. You guys ready to go to your new home?
Taking the lights. Yeah, let's go. Fresh, she's out.
I know.
Hey, puss. Nowhere to hide?
All right, the ducks are in. They're on their little nesting pads in there, so they're comfy. All right, girls, you ready? Say goodbye to your masterpiece coop. We're gonna miss this coop so much, but Joe's gonna build another one. Poor guy. This one is cemented into the ground, so we can't just bring it with us. Turning off the light one last time. It is just past midnight and we just pulled up to the new house. I have the 4 ducks in the back of my van and Joe has the 3 cats in his car. For tonight, we're gonna put the ducks in the garden shed. We're gonna make it all nice and comfy for them so that they're safe tonight. Let's just ignore the background for now. I almost like hesitated as I pressed the record button because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much catching up to do. Where do I even begin? And so then I nervously started peeling an orange. I guess let's begin with a bump date because I feel like that's kind of the pattern in which we've been going. Currently, I need to check my app 1 second. I'm losing track of the days. 26 weeks and 2 days, and it says my baby is as big as a spaghetti squash, so that's crazy. 14 inches long. 13 inches long squirrel. She's probably as long as you. Wow, we're getting up there. So let's begin. That's also why I hesitated pressing record, because I'm like, how much do I show? Do I want to show like before and afters of the house or just the afters? I will show before and afters, of course. This is the in between the before and after. So then I was like, do I show it? Do I not? But then I'm like, you know what, Hannah, you just need to stop thinking and just press record. So that's what I did. So obviously we are not in our beach cottage anymore, which is so sad and so bittersweet. But Joe and I did move away from our beach cottage last week officially. Mayo. It was kind of a process, which I'll get into in a second, but just to reflect really quickly, I won't bore you. We lived in that beach cottage for the last 2 years, and it was quite possibly one of the best rental experiences, well, probably the best rental experience we'll ever have. And to just cut to the chase, I won't be too sappy. We had the best 2 years of our life so far in that beach cottage, and Joe and I have been together for almost 8 years now, and we've lived in multiple places, countries, states, whatever. But coming back to California, that beach cottage was only about 45 minutes to an hour from where I grew up. So coming back home to like my roots and also sharing that with Joe and developing a community and being so close to the beach and surfing and raising our ducks, raising our cats, and then becoming pregnant in that home represents to us like coming together as a couple so much. It's really where we created this lifestyle that we love so much and a family, and I don't want to get emotional, but I think it'll go down in history as just the beginning of this life that we want to build together, even though we had already been together 6 years or so before moving into that house. After 1 year of living there, we renewed our lease for a whole nother year because we're like, we're not moving. And then as the second year approached its end, which was just in April that our lease ended, about 6 months ago, just threw around the idea of, I guess just over 6 months ago, we are ready to have a baby. I wasn't pregnant yet at that point. And should we just look to see if it's even possible to buy a house, create our own space that we own and raise a child? And honestly, we did not think that it would be possible given California house prices. But I think that we just kind of had to rejigger how we approached home buying. And everyone's process obviously looks different, and depending on where you are, what time of year, how many people are moving, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of factors, but it became quite apparent to us that we weren't gonna be able to buy in that town that we were living in, where the beach cottage was very expensive. And also, we knew that we wanted to have some form of land, like a larger backyard, and it just wouldn't have been doable in that region. So we were really sad to leave that region. We love it, but it opened our eyes to going more north in California. Not technically Northern California, but Central Coast, which is a place that I have always loved and that Joe has also fallen in love too. It's a place that we have visited so much and that we surfed in, hiked in, and it's a place that I've been coming to since I got my driver's license when I was 16 years old. And it's only 3 hours from where I grew up and only 2 hours from where we were just previously living. So it's not this massive change, but it does feel like a fresh start in a way. I love tangerines so much. Or are they mandarins? I don't know. We started browsing Zillow, and when we started browsing this location, it started to seem a little bit more doable, and we started to fall more and more in love with the idea of this region because it would allow us to live the lifestyle that we wanted to live. And in the beginning, we didn't want to get our hopes up because obviously buying a home is such a huge decision, and it can be a big undertaking, especially in a time when we knew that we would want to have our first baby soon. We're like, can we manage all of this mentally, financially, physically? Like, can we do it? And honestly, the way I remember Joe and I had this conversation, and we said, if it ever feels like we're forcing something, let's take a step back and pause and stop. But if things are happening quite fluidly and easily, and then let's follow it and see what happens. And so we did just that. I became pregnant, and at that point we hadn't found the house that we ended up buying yet, but we felt like we were getting closer and closer. Every house that we visited felt almost right, but it was either too expensive, or there was too many like maintenance problems, or it wasn't close enough to a town that we wanted to be close to, or it was too far from the ocean. Like, there was always something slightly wrong, and we knew that we would never find our perfect home for our first home. We wanted to make sure that we weren't just settling, because again, we were so happy in our rental that it's not like we were like dying to leave our cottage. And then we found this house that we're at now. Spoiler alert. Joe and I just looked at each other and we're like, this is it. Like, we feel so at home here. I don't know if you can tell, but it is perfectly silent in the yard. It's a little bit breezy right now, but all you hear is birds. There's a large backyard. It's not like a giant plot of land, but it's the perfect size piece of property for us. The actual structure of the home is in such good shape, which is something that we came across in our home search, that the structure of a lot of these older homes so bad that we would have to put in so much work. But Joe, being a carpenter, he's able to like actually walk around and make sure that the bones of the house are good, and he's like, wow, this is like in great shape. But there's always a but. The inside, guys, let's just say that there was turquoise carpet in the entire house. You know, nothing against turquoise carpet. If you have turquoise carpet and you love it, it's not what we envisioned in our home. But we found ourselves just really being able to look past any of the interior quirks because we knew that those are very changeable, especially with Joe being a carpenter. That brought us to about December. Hi girls, I'll be back. I was getting a little bit toasty out there. I'll sit in front of this gorgeous, half demolished fireplace for now. I remember it was around Christmas time that we told our parents. I mean, our parents knew that we were in the process of looking for a home, but it wasn't until about Christmas that we told our families like, hey, I think we're actually gonna do this and buy this house. So I remember that as a timestamp in my head of Christmas being, we think we got the house and whatever. So that's December, obviously end of December, and now it's April. That's 4 months that we have now owned this home. And during those 4 months, believe it or not, Joe and I have actually been pretty much living separately. So he's been living up here in this house and I've been down at our beach cottage, our ex-beach cottage. Obviously for like safety reasons of me living alone during that time, I didn't want to outright say like, oh, Joe's not living here anymore. You know, you can't be too careful. So we've been living separately for the last couple months. Joe started his new job up here because obviously he would need to get a job up here since we're no longer living down there. How the timing all worked out, he started his job up here a few weeks ago. Like I said, Joe's a carpenter, so he goes and works on houses all day. He would come home here and start the renovation. And then I was at the cottage taking care of all the animals, the ducks, the cats, and packing up our whole house. Because he was up here, I was down there, so he was getting this house ready while I was getting ourselves ready to leave. And let me tell you, packing up an entire cottage while over 6 months pregnant was a lot. And we definitely had our fair share of like mini breakdowns, mostly me. We made it through and now I am officially moved up here. Okay, now that we have all the details, future me is gonna figure out how to edit the turquoise carpet to be on the screen, maybe right here or something. And then future me is also gonna edit and find a way to show you now. Ignore the plates of cat food scattered around and ignore all of this. We're all friends here, so I didn't clean up before doing this. These are our gorgeous wood floors that Joe put in. So that's the garden shed where the ducks are currently sleeping at night. Our goal is to actually completely rip out that garden shed because it's not the cutest. And Joe is gonna build an epic walk-in duck coop right there, like a really cute one similar to our old one, but just bigger. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm really tired. Been working and then coming back and working on the house too. And then trying to set the ducks up so they're safe as well. And then still kind of moving them. I love our new house so much. I haven't even put the lights back in or anything, so we're kind of like, we have like lamps plugged in. But it's so nice. I mean, it's already more comfortable than our rental.
That's so true.
Like even a half-finished house is more comfortable than our last night's cottage. Even though I loved that.
We loved it.
I loved it. But we have a dishwasher, which I've never had in my life.
It's so good.
It's so good. And we have heating and AC, which is crazy. Never had that. Things are great.
Cheers.
Cheers.